Hello and welcome to the video on styles, slightly different from format as table, where you can style specific cells individually. So I'm just going to open the worksheet that we've been working with, and this one was originally changed to format as table, and I selected again if I wanted to select a different color style. I can certainly do that. But notice it's in a table because you have those markers where I sorted before. So if you wanted, you could remove this table so it's no longer. So you go into table design and convert to a range. Ask you, do you want to convert this to a normal range? And what it's going to do when I say yes is get rid of these markers of sorting and filtering. So I'll say yes. And then what I also want to do is get rid of the shading. So I'm just going to go to editing and choose clear all formats so that everything is clear and it's all back to the same font, which is fine. If you remember way back when, we would change the font, maybe make it a little larger, put it bold, center. We did a few extra things. This one just needs to fit a little bit more. But what we want to do here is work with styles. So if I were to select row 2, remember we went into the font and changed the font color, and then we went into shading to change the shading. You could do that manually, and when you do that, you have many choices for the theme colors and different variations in lighter to darker. So you have that in here in your standard colors. But there's another quick way to do it, which is in cell styles. So you have your good, bad, and neutral. And as you hover over, it indicates on your screen what you had highlighted, what would the shading would be. And then you have the data model. It just changes. It doesn't do any calculation. It just changes the text to orange. And then, so it's just changing the text or the cells. You have more shadings here. And you can hover over to see how it'll appear on your screen. And you can select anything you'd like. And for total, which is pretty cool, whenever you're doing financial documents in accounting, all the financial balance sheet, any of your financial documents, in cell styles, there's actually one called total, where it puts the single line above and the double underline below. So you could use that for any financial documents. So that's a pretty nice feature. And then if I wanted to select in here cell styles, and I could probably pick a lighter shading. So I'm not going to do that, but you could if you wanted. There's another pretty cool feature that you could work with cell styles. So I'm going to select just the ranges for January, and I get this little button that appears. It's called Quick Analysis, and then I'm going to, it's right under formatting. There are the categories, and we'll get into those later on, but I could choose data bars. And you can see that it's not showing very much here. Maybe if I change this to 250, you'll see a bigger range. So the smaller the bar, the smaller the units, and the higher the bar fill, the more the shading shows. So I'm going to select them, go back to the quick analysis, and I'm going to clear that format. Keeping them selected, now I'm going to try color scale. And you could notice that red is in danger, gray is neutral, and green is really good. So I'm going to go back into here and clear it. And then there's one more called icon sets. And again, it shows the values that are low, and then the green arrow for values that are high. So that's in quick analysis. I'm going to clear that, and I'm just going to go over again. We worked with data bars, color scales, and icon sets. If the same range you have selected, you come up here to conditional formatting. Here it is, data bars, but you have more choices. You have gradient, which shows lighter to darker shades of the color, or solid colors. So there's more choices. In color scales, again, there are many more choices of coloring that you could select for your data range. And then my favorite is the icon sets. So I could actually choose two. So if I went with the data bars with the gradient fill, and then with it still selected, go right back to conditional formatting, I could choose the icon sets, and I'm going to ratings. They have bars and quarter moons. but I'm going to go with the stars. And again, the full star is the one with the highest value. So that's conditional formatting. So it basically tells a story of the values of your data. So another thing you could do, so I'll select, maybe I'll do it with the totals. You can even do it columns or with the totals. So I'm going to go to totals and I'm going to select conditional formatting. And this time I'm going to select, so we did data bars, color scales, and icons. I'm going to go to highlight cell rules and I'm going to select greater than. And I want it to show anything greater than 95. You get to choose. Then over here, you can see I already have 2 of them that are greater than 95, and you could choose a color. And then OK. I'm going to keep that same range selected, and you could also choose highlight cells. How about between? So this one I want to show anything between 70 and 90. And that would be, I'll keep that in red, so it shows the 3 in red. And OK. So it indicates which ones are in trouble and which ones are doing really well. Now, if you wanted to see what these rules are, you will go into conditional formatting and manage rules. And all the rules that you have used show up here. So the first one I did was the data bar, and it shows the range that I selected, C3 to C6. Then it shows the icon set, the stars, same range. Then it shows that I chose greater than 95, and I chose a green font with a light green background, and there's my range, C7 to H7. And then I also chose a value between 75 and 90 in the red and pink font. So it shows you all the rules. You could edit the rules, you could delete the rules, or you can keep the rules, but it shows all of them here. So I'll close out of here. And you can take simple data and add a story to it by highlighting it with cell styles and conditional formatting. So let's take a peek at Google Sheets. So now I'm in Google Sheets, and I will select the range, and I'll look for conditional formatting, and there it is under format, conditional formatting. The range that I have selected, C3 to C6, and the format rules is not empty. I could say something, I'll leave that as it is. The default color is green. I could choose in here greater than, and I'll put in the value of 29, so anything over 29. And if I wanted to change the color, I could. And done. And if I wanted to select a range, different range, add another rule. There's my range, C7 through F7, and I want it to contain between. And I'll put in the values between 89 and 1100. And I'll change the color. And done. So there's not as many options in Microsoft Excel. You don't have the data bars, the color scales, or the icon sets, but you can still do some conditional formatting. And that's working with styles and conditional formatting in Excel. If you wanted to take a peek at numbers, make sure you use the Apple Support website, and you can use cell conditions in numbers on Mac. And there's plenty of options to choose. Thank you.